Billy, Tatu, Ine. Karibu, Your Excellency. Thank you for coming.
Okay, please be seated. The Honorable Florence Bore, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. Principal Secretary is present. The NSSF Board of Trustees, representatives from KOTU, Kenya, and Federation of Kenya Employers present. Development partners, representatives from ministries, departments, and agencies present. Members of the private sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. I will make some short remarks, and then I will want to emphasize one or two things at the end of these remarks. And then, unfortunately, I'll have to leave you a bit early because there's the fertilizer summit that is taking off again this morning. And you know, at the end of the day, what counts is whether we have something to keep us going as a nation in terms of food security. So let me begin. I am delighted and honored to be part of this momentous event for the launch of the National Social Security Fund NSSF Corporate Strategic Plan 2023 to 2027. This is a celebration, and it is the culmination of months of hard work and dedication geared towards charting a new path of growth and prosperity for NSSF and its esteemed members. The strategic plan underlines the commitment of the entire NSSF team, whose efforts have been instrumental in shaping the future trajectory of your organization and that of Kenyans. I commend the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Madam Florence Bore, and your ministry for supporting and guiding NSSF this far. Madam CS, I encourage you to continue being instrumental in shaping the future direction of NSSF. As government, we have confidence that your ministry will continue with a steadfast commitment to realizing the vision of NSSF as the trusted social security provider dedicated to delivering exceptional value to its members. To the members of the Board of Trustees, under the able leadership of the Chairman, David Njeru, and the Managing Trustee, David Koros, together with all the devoted staff of NSSF, I am sure this strategic plan will be a springboard for growth of NSSF to the benefit of your members and Kenya as a whole. Let us recognize and appreciate the team effort by the NSSF team and industry stakeholders that has created this living document. Your unwavering commitment to excellence in crafting a plan that embodies the core values of member centralism, integrity, innovation, and collaboration, aligning with the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, is truly commendable. I am confident that your vision and hard work will propel NSSF to even greater heights of success in the years ahead. Your tireless efforts have not only laid the foundation for a brighter future for all Kenyans, but have also instilled a sense of pride and gratitude within us all. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, to reflect on the critical role that NSSF plays in the promotion of Kenya's economic development. NSSF transcends its role merely as a social security provider. It stands as a cornerstone of our nation's social and economic framework, extending financial security and stability to countless Kenyans nationwide. Beyond its function of mobilizing local resources for national development, NSSF actively invests in productive sectors such as its support for the small and medium enterprises, championing financial inclusion, and reinforcing the stability of our financial system. These multifaceted endeavors contribute significantly to the overall prosperity and well-being of the Kenyan people across all regions. Allow me to recognize the notable improvements in the pension industry in Kenya. During the presentation, the Managing Trustee highlighted that pensions had outperformed inflation by 3% over a 3-year period, positioning it as the second largest player after banks. Moreover, according to the Retirement Benefits Authority, Kenya's pension coverage registered an 8.1% increase in 2023 compared to the previous year. Despite the progress made, there are still significant challenges that we must address. One of them is the low pension coverage in Kenya, which remains alarmingly low compared to other East African states. Kenya's retirement savings rate stands at a mere 17%, the lowest in the region. According to the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, as at 2023, over 13.9 million adult Kenyans lack retirement savings, highlighting the urgent need for action. This low level of pension coverage poses a significant threat to the financial security and well-being of millions of Kenyans, both now and in the future. With an income replacement ratio upon retirement of just 40%, well below the recommended level of 75%, many retirees are finding themselves struggling to make ends meet in their golden years. This worrying trend calls for urgent attention and action. We cannot afford to watch while millions of Kenyans lack the financial security and stability they deserve. It is the responsibility of all leaders and stakeholders in our nation's social and economic development to collaborate and devise innovative solutions to address this critical issue. Incorporating financial literacy into NSSF's activities could be instrumental, equipping Kenyans with the knowledge needed to make informed financial decisions. I am nevertheless pleased to note the progress Kenyans are making in saving part of their incomes for the future. They are catching up with other African countries that have a good record of savings for retirement. Tanzania leads with the highest contribution to retirement savings, requiring a 10% savings of one's gross earnings from the employer, with the employer matching it. Similarly, Uganda mandates a 5% individual saving matched by a 10% employer contribution, while in Rwanda, the individual contribution is 5% with the employer adding 3%. It is important that a central focus of NSSF's strategic plan is a renewed dedication to expanding pension coverage and promoting financial inclusion for all Kenyans. Initiatives targeting informal sector savings, plans tailored specifically for market vendors, border operators, taxi and matatu operators are crucial components of this effort. By providing affordable and sustainable retirement savings options, the goal is to ensure that every Kenyan has access to financial security in their later years. I have also been informed that plans are underway to enhance benefits payable by NSSF in order to meet the dynamic needs of Kenyans. These forward-thinking initiatives are particularly significant given the evolving challenges within the workforce, especially the SMEs, which constitute a significant portion of Kenya's employers. By addressing these pressing needs, the government, through NSSF, is taking proactive steps to support individuals and families during times of transition and uncertainty in the workplace. These efforts, backed up by technology and innovation, will drive efficiency and effectiveness in NSSF. I am happy to note that this strategic plan places significant emphasis on technology and innovation, recognizing that all planned enhancements necessitate ICT integration. From digitizing member records to ensuring availability of all NSSF services online, and even expediting the seamless payment of benefits within a shorter time frame. We are told that the target is 24 hours. Digital innovation is indispensable. By leveraging the power of technology, NSSF can streamline processes, reduce costs, and provide even greater value to its members and stakeholders. I commend the team for prioritizing this aspect in the strategic plan. Let me reaffirm our wavering commitment as a government to forging a more prosperous and secure future for every Kenyan. Let us stand in solidarity with the NSSF as it endeavors to realize its vision. Retirement planning should not be a privilege reserved for the few. It is a journey we all embark on. Let us take personal responsibility to save for our future and educate our families about the invaluable products offered by NSSF. Ultimately, we are each other's guardians, and by supporting the fund, we strengthen our collective resilience. Together, we can overcome the challenges we face and seize the opportunities that lie ahead. With vision, determination, and a shared sense of purpose, there's no limit to what we can achieve. So, let me now just throw in one or two comments. How do we handle our habits between savings and consumption as a country? This is a very debatable issue, but it is significant. If we drive ourselves into the corner where we are just a consumption society, a consuming society, without considering savings, we will land into serious trouble. The other aspect is governance. A lot of you here are aware that many governments have fallen because of mismanagement of their pensions, particularly in Latin America. We have also seen in some countries in Europe. Savings and the pension industry are so emotive, and it all boils down to governance and how we plan for it. So as trustees, it is important that as we do whatever we have to do, we clearly must focus on these areas. Secondly, in all economies, inflation is always an issue. So as we plan and focus on how to grow our funds, we must be alive to the fact that you must always, using all the talent you have and prudent management and investment, direction and advice, be professional and strategic, so that the returns that are then going to feed our pension funds are always able to hedge against inflationary pressures. It's important, because we could talk about savings, and if inflation runs amok, we could have a problem. We have seen countries having to actually retire their currencies and issue totally new currencies because inflation has actually damaged them and wiped out what they have. Let us safeguard so that we don't fall within that category. In terms of what you can contribute to development, I was talking to the trustees earlier, and they were able to advise me that they've made a very careful decision so that the scope and breadth of their investments is such that it is not risky, or at least if it is risky, the ratios at which there's investment in different segments is well managed, so that there is no threat to the savings of the Kenyan people. You can also help the nation in tackling some of its debt if it is well managed. It's no secret. Kenya and the economy that we are managing today has got a very huge debt portfolio. It's not a secret. And we know what it is doing. We are not yet out of the woods. As much as we have been able to navigate in certain areas, but the reality is that the debt issue, the debt overhang, is still an issue in our economy. And therefore, the way the pension funds come into play, you could save us some of these issues if we work together properly, prudently. And there are a few things you can think about when you consider your investments. For instance, the government of Kenya is seriously thinking now about having its second or its new airport terminal at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. You can imagine if it is well geared and it's well thought through, how NSSF can become perhaps the next most significant or largest shareholder in Kenya's Jomo Kenyatta's new airport terminal. Different from the traditional approach, we are visa-free, we are growing numbers, the traffic is increasing. You can imagine what the pension funds can do in modernizing our airport. I'm just giving an example, so that we move away from thinking the traditional high-rise buildings, and then you wait for rent, and it can be difficult. You must think of a different approach, but also which can be visible. Suppose it is the pension funds that had done our expressway as a long-term infrastructure investment. All this toll that we are paying along the expressway would have been going to NSSF. This is a possibility, so that we move away from certain aspects. We want to make Kenya, the Silicon Savannah. The government has already indicated that they want to roll out 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic in our country. What would happen if NSSF or other pension funds became critical investors in this technology space, where income is assured and you're also contributing to development and the technology? So these are some areas that I thought I could just share. I'm not suggesting you go in that direction. But I'm just trying to say that we need to open up our minds a little more as Kenyans across the board, so that we can really leverage on the savings culture and the resources that we can save in this country. We must break away from our tradition. You know, I don't know whether there's some elderly people here, but in those days they used to say, when somebody gets a child and maybe there's a gap that has been there, and then mtoto wa mwisho anazaliwa, unasikia wazazi wakisema hiyo ndio pension yangu. You know, your pension, I don't know how much we can continue to say that our children are our pension. But looking at the African continent as a whole, and then looking at the median age, which is 19.6, or at least say 20%, and about 68% of these people are actually at that age. That means Kenya, and by extension the entire African continent, is a very young continent. So this 70% or so of Kenyans who are, of Africans who are roughly 20 years of age, are they a pension? I don't know. Are they a resource? I think so. But you can imagine if we engage in consumption and our median age in Africa is at 20. We will be courting disaster. But if our median age is 20, that means we have a working population, we have a young population, and then we instill a culture of savings. We are going to make a big difference, not just for Kenya, but for the continent. And that is the challenge that you good people here must crack for us. When I say us, I mean the country. You must think through and help us navigate these very difficult waters, so that we then will be asking ourselves this question: are you scared of retirement, or are you scared of aging? Of course, the two go hand in hand. But which one are you scared of? Are you scared of retiring, or are you scared of aging? I leave it to you. It's a rhetorical question. Think about it, and I'm sure if you think about it, you'll help us find solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, let me formally now launch the NSSF strategic plan, and to wish you the very best as you steer and lead the pace in this pension industry. God bless you all. Thank you.
God bless you too, Your Excellency. We'd like to